Hello everyone, my name is Olivier Bernard. I have worked 15 years in the industry and for the past 8 years I have been a lecturer at IFP school. In this video, we will take a look at the energy efficiency importance as a key element to reach the COP21 objectives. As you have seen several times during this MOOC, in order to reach the objective of keeping global warming effect below 2 degrees, we have to reduce our CO2 emissions. To go further, have a look at this graph. The difference between the two lines represents the gain of energy done thanks to energy efficiency programs. From 2000 to 2016, we saved 16 terawatts. This is really a huge quantity of energy. It's equivalent to the energy needed to run 16 lightsabers from the Star Wars movie. But more seriously, in industries, the main equipment to recover energy is heat exchanger. What is a heat exchanger? A heat exchanger allows transferring heat from one fluid to another one without mixing. It's used each time you want to heat cold fluids or to cool down hot fluids. For instance, one section, called tubes, is filled with the cold fluid, and the other sections, called shell, with the hot fluid. Let's have a look inside the heat exchanger. The cold stream enters at a temperature T1, and the hot stream enters at a temperature TA. The tube, here in blue, is filled with the cold fluid, and the shell, in red, with the hot one. During the circulation of both fluids into the exchanger, there is transfer of heat from hot fluid to cold one. At the outlet, the cold fluid is hotter and the hot fluid is colder. It's easy to calculate the quantity of heat exchanged between two streams. Let's focus on the cold fluid. We have to know several parameters: the inlet and outlet temperatures, the flow rate of the fluid here designed by MC, and finally, its heat capacity, CP. The heat capacity is the amount of heat in kilocal needed to raise the temperature from 1 degree Celsius for 1 kilogram of fluid. Finally, without vaporization, the quantity of heat exchanged is calculated thanks to this formula. Q equals M multiplied by Cp multiplied by delta T. The quantity of heat released by the hot fluid is equal to the quantity received by the cold one. Here is an example of real unit. The feed needs to be heated to enter into a reactor. It goes through several exchangers in red, and it's heated by steam. The steam is produced inside a boiler, where we burn fuel gas and thus produce a certain amount of CO2. At the reactor exit, the fluid finally needs to be cooled down through other exchangers, in blue. Without heat integration, this process uses a lot of steam to heat up the feed. It's a waste of energy and money and contribute to CO2 emissions. We can improve the situation by installing a feed effluent exchanger to recover energy and decrease CO2 emissions. In this example, the energy needed to heat the feed is coming directly from the outlet of the reactor by installing a feed effluent exchanger. To improve energy efficiency, increase heat recovery, and reduce CO2 emissions, we need to use a dedicated methodology called pinch. Let's now explain this approach developed by Professor Linhoff in the 70s. Let's work on the following example. We have 4 streams, 2 cold ones and 2 hot ones. We must try to combine these flows in order to recover as much energy as possible. To do this, we first calculate each stream's heat quantity using the previous formula. Q equals mCp delta T. Then we can represent the 2 cold streams on this graph. A from 30 to 120 degrees Celsius with a heat quantity of 162 kilowatt, and B from 60 to 100 degrees Celsius. Let's start together to draw what we call the cold composite curve. We start at the lowest temperature, it's 30 degrees Celsius, until the next interval of temperature here, 60 degrees Celsius. Between these 2 points, we have only one stream, so it's easy. We take the heat quantity from A to start to draw the cold composite curve. Then, for the next interval, between 60 and 100, we have 2 streams, so the MCP will be the sum of the 2 streams. In this example, the second interval goes from 60 to 100 with a heat quantity of 5.8 multiplied by 40 degrees Celsius equals 232 kilowatt. And we continue like that until the end to obtain the cold composite curve. We follow the same approach for the hot composite curve. These 2 graphs give us a lot of information. we can calculate the minimum cold utility needed to run the process. Here, 6 kilowatt. We can calculate the minimum energy required to run the process. Here, 48 kilowatt. It's the quantity of hot utilities needed, like steam from a boiler or heat from a furnace. In the center of the graph, you can read the maximum energy you can recover by installing heat exchangers network. Here, 274 kilowatt of energy could come directly from the process itself and reduce CO2 emissions by saving hot utilities. The minimum gap in temperature between both curves is called the pinch. It's important to try to optimize this gap in order to minimize the energy required to run the unit. To sum up what we just said, heat exchangers are a key equipment to recover and save energy. Pinch methodology gives us the potential savings of energy inside the unit. From this method, we obtain the minimum cold and hot utilities required to run a unit and the energy you can recover by installing a heat exchanger network. That's the end of this video. You now will have the opportunity to practice pinch methodology in the following game. To finish, I would like to thank Agathe, Baptiste and César, IFP School graduates who helped me prepare this video. Goodbye.